Hi, I did promise you part two of our conversation with Patrick Lafayette, and I'm delivering on that promise. You perhaps will remember him on radio in Jamaica, and perhaps you worked with him in music in Jamaica or beyond, because he really has done some fantastic things. And in recent times, he's been working with musicians in other parts of the world, and he does sing too. But we'll hear more from him about him. This is Profile. Good evening. I am Faye Ellington. Patrick Lafayette is my guest, and we're continuing. It's part two, Patrick. Thank you so much for being so gracious, so kind.
Well, thank you for having me.
I can't wait to hear the story with Don Toppin and the fact that when he realized you were blind, and the fact that people started calling in to say they were falling asleep when they put you on the graveyard shift,
Yes.
which was between midnight and 5 o'clock. What happened then?
Oh, man, just everything changed. Don got the idea of changing the whole concept of the station. We changed from Capital Stereo to Fame FM, and they just stuck me in the middle of the afternoon. It was a whole change for me, with the whole focus being placed on me as a blind person. The knowledge was kept in-house, though. It wasn't overly broadcast or announced.
At the time that you were blind?
Yes, that I was blind. But one thing did happen. Remember Carlington Sinclair?
Of course I remember his late night show.
Yes, he had me on a show once and boss it. Lord have mercy, after that point. We even had school children coming in. And what was funny, though, I had an assistant, Barry Mattis, and Barry used to read his newspaper and just look up and say, "Oi, so monkey time." So, oh, people would be looking through the glass at me, so I'd stick my... It was fun. It was good, though.
But how was the adjustment? You had to be playing, at that time, LP, long-playing vinyl records and 45s and so on.
The thing for me, and a lot of people don't know, I used to mix music.
I know.
But RGR never had no mixing turntable. We had an old-fashioned turntable. Remember the flick the switch and the garage, the big thing spin?
Yeah.
I had to turn it off and spin it with my finger until I caught the right tempo and revolution. That's why people used to bug out on me. I used to be mixing in there as a blind person. Mixing, changing vinyl, doing everything. Doing commercials, taking calls, news, queuing news, time signals, the whole 9 yard as a blind person.
And you did that for some time, but you also broke a record. You had sponsorship for your program.
Yes.
You tell the story.
Well, I was told by Don Topping that in its 16 years of operation as Capital Stereo, it was being subsidized by the bigger station. But in less than 6 months of operation, it paid for itself than it ever did in 16 years. One. Two, I've had every hour of every show for every time I'm on sponsored by a different sponsor.
How did you find your sponsors?
They came to us. I was being flooded.
What were you doing that was so different?
The novelty of having somebody with a different approach in music, because at the time, Dynamics, Delroy Morrison told me that the ratio between foreign and local sales was like 70-30.
In terms of records?
Yes, 70 local, 30 foreign. By the time I step into it, it flipped around. People were buying foreign music in Jamaica now. People started listening to stuff they never listened to.
Such as?
Soft rock, what they call now alternative music. I started to appeal to the young folks because young people didn't have anything much to listen to.
But this is at the point where you're working in media, you're on radio, but your love affair with radio started before that.
My love affair with radio started when I lost my sight in 1977. I used to terrorize radio. Radio at that time used to have a lot of giveaways in the afternoon. There was a show called The Bamboo Lounge. I don't know if you remember a show like that.
Yeah, I remember.
And there was a lady by the name of Faye Ellington. Lord, she sounded so good. Jeez. I was in love with Faye, and I decided I would give that woman every time she gave us something, I'm going to win it.
And you did. And
Every
I had to ban
time.
you.
Mr. Demal banned me from radio.
I did.
Yeah. But you know what? I could never ever forget the kind and graciousness of Faye Ellington. When I was accepted to go to the States to do my operation, I called Faye at JBC and I told her that I was going to be leaving Jamaica for good to do an operation and that I was blind. And Faye said, "You're blind?" I said, "Yes, and I'm leaving today. One of my greatest wishes would be to meet you." And you said to me, "You know what, where you live?" And I told you. So you said, "You must pass JBC." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, you tap yourself when you pass." And I did. And you came out, you came right outside and come hug me up and tell me Godspeed. I never forgot that woman.
Wow. And
Never
that's what
did.
life is about, just being there for everyone.
Yeah, but it was so much of an impact, Faye. Because of you, I pursued radio.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Yeah,
We're not going to get stopped in here
yeah,
because you're a baller and I'm a
man.
baller. No, let's
Yeah,
move on.
so we are two
So,
baller
yeah.
from long
So you did, how long were you at Fame for? How long were you at Fame for?
Oh, God. I did Fame until 89.
What caused you to leave?
I was still a student. I came to Jamaica as a youngster. People thought I was a big grown man. I was a youngster doing radio. I was still in school. People thought I was a grown man with a big voice. No, I was still a kid doing work.
So you went back to the
I
States?
went back to school, yeah, because I wanted to do a master's, and eventually I thought about doing a doctorate and all of that kind of stuff. But things happen, things change in life. And I came back to Jamaica in '89, and I was invited to start KLAS in Mandeville. I worked with Mutty Perkins and Michael Cuff then for a
Yeah.
period. And then I missed my home,
Home meaning New
Fame
York
FM.
or
Fame FM.
Fame
Because
FM.
Fame was like home, yeah? We had a bond in that small establishment called Fame FM. Jeannie Hastings, Lornette Samuda, Joan Johnson, Norma Brown, Alwyn Scott. And this was before even Francois. Francois wasn't there yet. This was early Fame where we just made that transition. Actually, Francois came in after I had to leave, when my internship was over and I had to go back to school. Don called me in his office and said, "Why, well, we're going to Lafayette." Why, Mr. Toppin, I don't know. I have to go back to school. Him say, "Yeah, well, I have some cassettes here with some voices." And he played some voices for me. And the one that stuck out was Francois Saint-Just.
Look at that. I did
Yeah,
not
man.
know that story.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
So
man.
you went back, you came back.
I came back.
Fame beckoned once again and you...
I came back in '97 and I worked with them until 2001.
By that time, too, you're using new technology.
Yes, yes, yes.
What was the technology you're using then?
There was screen reading
Yeah.
for computers. In 1989, I was introduced to talking computers. And I built my own, because, knowledge is a wonderful thing, It empowers you. And thanks to a dear friend of mine, Gary Barrow, he's now with JPS. Gary is a computer whiz, and we roomed together in Miami for a while, and he had a computer. And he said, "I'm not going to teach you, man, go learn." And I researched and found out how I could learn. So I put the card in it that gave me screen reading access, and I taught myself with the assistance from other people, but the major work was a lot of reading by me. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
The knowledge, as soon as I got it, one of the first things I did was brought it back to Jamaica. Most of the blind people in Jamaica with the knowledge for computers, I gave it to them.
And those would be people like?
Oh, Dr. Hickswell Douglas.
And?
The former senator.
Floyd Morris. Dr. Floyd Morris.
Yes.
And?
Wilbert Williams, Sidney Thorpe.
Exactly, of Fab Five.
Yes,
but
Gloria Goff.
you guys you're just geniuses when it comes down to the technology. Those of us who are sighted,
Oh, by the way, it's not technology.
What is it?
Give knowledge. We don't take from nobody.
All right, give knowledge.
Yes.
The thing is, we really need to come to you all to learn this thing because you have just done such outstanding work with it. Let's take a break. And then when we come back, we'll hear more. I want to hear how this girlfriend that you came to RJR with, to Fame, is that the lady who is in your life at this time?
No, they've been water under the bridge. and I'll tell you about the joy I
Okay.
have in my life.
Okay, fine. We hear that. We'll hear that. Patrick Lafayette is my guest.